All right, so we're going to continue here in the explanation of qatrun nada. And now the author wants to talk about a very important, very pivotal case in Arabic. And so he says, may Allah have mercy upon him. Asl, original text. وبأن المصدرية. Also, the fi'l mudari' is made mansoob by the particle an al-masdariyah. So we talked about an al-masdariyah before because we talked about K al-masdariyah just 2 weeks ago. It was very important for you to study that. So if we read this, you'd say wa bi anil masdariyah, we'll throw a kasra there. But really it's N. The way this is printed here, they put a sukoon on the noon. N. And N, it is built with a sukoon. But the next word is al-masdariyah. And you're going to skip from this noon to this lam. That means you'd have 2 sukoons in a row, and you can't have 2 sukoons in a row, because we're not going to read the alif there. So then the only way to pronounce that is by giving a kasra here to this noon. So you read this, وَبِأَنِ الْمَصْدَرِيَّةِ. Notice also that whoever typed this up, he broke the bat here away from the particle N. Why he did that? Because he wanted to use these parentheses here. He wanted to use these parentheses for here, those two. Anil masdariyah. So he has a choice, either to include the ba inside the parentheses or put it outside the parentheses. But then if he puts it outside, he's going to have to break it off of the whole word there. So the real proper way to write this, according to regular Arabic, is to say wa bi anil masdariyah, like that. Wa bi anil masdariyah. That's correct. I want to point out for you also here that here this word al-masdariyah, it has on the front of it what? Al. Al is for definiteness. The masdariyah. So that means that this N here is definite. Just make sure you're following the sentence structure. N al-masdariyah. It's just that N doesn't take L on the front. So if you have a question about that, feel free. If that's not clear for you, what is the point I'm making for you? So the fi'l mudari' is made mansoob by N, the masdari, N. You know what it means to be masdari. Let me review for you. You'd say, for example, I gave you a simple example before. Uhibbu, if one were to say yani, Uhibbu an akul You're familiar with the shape of kaf, yes? This longer shape of kaf. Uhibbu an akula. So we have here this N here. This is an al-masdariyah. And this verb akula So it means I like or love. That's uhibbu. And to akula, eat. And you've learned that the fi'l mudari, or any verb really, the verb with the harf masdari together, the verb with the harf masdari together, they act like one thing, which is the masdar. Together they act like the masdar. So uhibbu and akula, it's equal to saying uhibbu, so I like or I love, al-akla, al-akl, al-akla. There, that calf, that's shorter calf. Here, this calf. Here, this is another shape for calf, just to remind you. Make sure you're reading well. Uhibbul akl, al-akla. So al-akl here, that's the masdar, that's the source of the verb, that's the noun. Uhibbu and akula is equal to saying uhibbul akl, and neither of them is more preferable. They're equal. I checked that with a number of sheikhs at different times. All of them told me it's the same. Yani, my question was, which is better? Which is more eloquent? It's the same. There's no difference. So that's harf masdari. And you can do that with anything. So for example, I could say dini and uslima. Dini and uslima. My religion is that I submit, or my religion is submitting. Yani, is that I submit. And uslima. So these two together, the harf masdari with the verb, they work together to mean the masdar. And the masdar of aslama yuslimu is islama, al-islam. Dini al-islam. Dini and uslim. Dini al-islam. That means the same thing. So the author says, وَبِأَنِ الْمَصْدَرِيَّةِ. The verb, the fi'l mudari, is made ManSoob by an, the masdari, and ظahiratan, meaning when it appears, when it shows up. That means when you pronounce it with your tongue, actually. naHw an yaghfira li, such as this ayah or piece of an ayah, an yaghfira li, that he forgives me. That's what Prophet Ibrahim said. He said, وَالَّذِي أَطْمَعُ أَن يَغْفِرَ لِي خَطِيئَتِي يَوْمَ الدِّينِ. Allah is the one that I hope, and يَغْفِرَ لِي, that He forgives me, خَطِيئَتِي, my sin, my small sin that does not display low character because of being a prophet, on Judgment Day, that He would forgive it on Judgment Day. So then, what's the masdar? This is a big question for you for many verbs. You learn a verb, you want to know what's the masdar. You always want to know past tense, present tense, and masdar, or yani madi, mudari, and masdar. Sometimes you just want to know Maldi and Mudari, past and present. If you hear the past, you want to know the present. If you hear the present, you want to know how to say the past. And sometimes you want to know all three. So the masdar for yaghfir, anyone know? What's the masdar for ghafara yaghfiru? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The masdar for ghafara yaghfiru is ghufrana. Ghufran. Ghufran. So, an yaghfira li walladhi atma'u an yaghfira li, the one that I hope that he forgives me, is like saying walladhi atma'u ghufranahu li. Walladhi atma'u ghufranahu li. Ghufranahu. So the ayah is, let's see something here. وَالَّذِي أَطْمَعُ وَالَّذِي أَطْمَعُ, and then it goes to here. وَالَّذِي أَطْمَعُ أَن يَغْفِرَ لِي, then it continues here. خطيئتي يوم الدين. We'll stop it there though. والذي أطمع أن يغفر لي خطيئتي. So you see how that's going, inshallah. And he is the one that I hope أطمع أن يغفر لي, that he forgives me خطيئتي, my sin. So here, and yaghfir, together, they work together to mean the masdar. So here, there's the masdar ghufran. So the meaning is, وَالَّذِي أَطْمَعُ غُفْرَانَهُ لِي خَطِيئَتِي. And he is the one that I hope his forgiveness, yani I hope for his forgiveness of my sin. So that's an al-masdariyah zahira. It's apparent. That means you're pronouncing it. Ma lam tuthbaqu bi'ilm. So this is the judgment of that an al-masdariyah that comes in front of the verb, as long as it's not preceded by what has the meaning of knowledge, not merely the word knowledge. ما لم تسبق بعلم, يعني بمعنى العلم. ما لم تسبق بمعنى العلم. As long as this n is not preceded by the meaning of knowledge. naHw, for example, علم أن سيكون منكم مرضى. That's an ayah from the Quran. Alima, he knew, and that sayakunu, that there shall be, minkum, from you, marda, those who are sick, those who are ill in their hearts, those who are ill in their hearts. Alima an sayakun. So when you're a beginner and you learn that an comes in front of the verb and makes the verb ManSoob, and you don't know about what we're talking about at this moment, you'd find this word an in front of this verb sayakun, and then you'd ask, why is there a dhamma here? Why doesn't it say an sayakuna? And the answer is because it was preceded by ilm. Knowledge came before it. The meaning of knowledge doesn't have to be the word of knowledge. The word ilm. علم أن سيكون منكم مرضى. So he's going to tell us. I'm going to give you a heads up here. He's going to tell us when that happens, when you find the meaning of ilm coming before n, and then you find the verb after it, marfu', that's because that's really a different n. That's because really this is naHw. naHw. The meaning is naHw. That's the meaning. So it's different n. Alima annahu sayakunu minkum marda. So really n is really working on the pronoun here. Annahu. It's not getting to the verb. It's not even getting to the verb. N in this case doesn't even get to the verb. It's occupied. But that pronoun, you don't pronounce it. So you don't say, when you recite the ayah, alima annahu sayakunu. You just omit that ha, and you still mean it though. And you say, alima an sayakunu. That's just like in the shahada. When you say, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, it really means, ashhadu bi annahu la ilaha illallah. Write it for you. And you say, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah what you're saying really is ashhadu bi annahu la ilaha illallah. So what happened there? The ba got omitted, the ha got omitted, and the noon got lightened. It was a doubled noon, mushaddada, or thaqila, heavy noon, doubled noon. It got lightened to a single noon, and the ha got omitted, and the ba got omitted. And so you say, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Here, alima an sayakun. The meaning is, alima annahu sayakun. Sayakunu. فَإِن سُبِقَتْ بِظَنٍّ. But if this n is preceded by an assumption, or thought, or speculation, or surmising, not knowing, فَوَجْهَانِ, then you can do it two ways. فَوَجْهَانِ, then it has two ways. Wajh has two wajhs. Here, wajh means way, or facet. It has two facets. Like the word facet is close to face. Has two facets, two ways you can do it. naHw, such as وَحَسِبُوا أَلَّا تَكُونَ فِتْنَةً. وَحَسِبُوا أَلَّا تَكُونَ فِتْنَةً. So you could say أَلَّا تَكُونَ, and you could say أَلَّا تَكُونُ. وَحَسِبُوا, and they reckoned, they thought, they counted أَلَّا تَكُونَ فِتْنَةً, that it would not be a fitna. They counted that it wouldn't be a fitna. They reckoned, they thought that it would not be a fitna. They didn't know. So since it's preceded by a reckoning or surmising, you could do it in two ways. He's going to come back and explain, so I won't say much more there. We're still just reading the text. Here he says, وَمُضْمَرَةً. وَمُضْمَرَةً, and intended. مُضْمَرَة. It's intended and it's in the heart. It's in the damir. You know the heart? What do you call the heart in Arabic? Qalb. Call the heart in Arabic qalb. You can also call it damir. Same word for pronoun. Damir. Your damir is your heart. Because it's not apparent. Because the heart is not apparent. So it's a damir. It's your damir. So mudmaratan, also the end could be non-apparent. It's in your heart only. You're not going to say it, but it's like it's in the sentence. And it even still has the power of being in the sentence. It's going to affect the verb without you saying it. And when it's mudmara, when it's in the heart only, it has two cases. Jawazan, one of those cases is that you can say it in your heart and you can say it with your tongue. It's permissible. Jawazan. You could say it or you could veil it. Whichever you like. بعد عاطف مسبوق باسم خالص. When would that be? بعد عاطف, after a conjunction. مسبوق, a conjunction that is preceded by. There is ahead of this conjunction. اسم خالص, a pure noun, an unadulterated noun. naHw, such as وَلُبْسُ عَبَاءَةٍ وَتَقَرَّ عَيْنِي. وَلُبْسُ عَبَاءَةٍ وَتَقَرَّ عَيْنِي. That's a piece of a line of poetry. وَلُبْسُ عَبَاءَةٍ, and wearing عَبَاءَةٍ. وَلُبْسُ عَبَاءَةٍ, there's a dhamma here on lubsu that should make you know that that's the head of a sentence, subject. Could be a predicate. It could be a khabar. وَلُبْسُ عَبَاءَةٍ, and the wearing of a عَبَاءَةٍ. وَتَقَرَّ عَيْنِي, and that it pleases my eye. So that's not a very clear statement to say it that way. Because it's not a complete sentence. وَلُبْسُ عَبَاءَةٍ وَتَقَرَّ عَيْنِي. The point here is that it means وَأَن تَقَرَّ عَيْنِي. وَأَن تَقَرَّ عَيْنِي. وَلُبْسُ عَبَاءَةٍ وَتَقَرَّ عَيْنِي. And the wearing of a aba'ah, or abaya. We say abaya. You can say it like that. And the wearing of a abaya, and that my eye is pleased. So, and taqarra together means the masdar, so it means to the effect of, and the wearing of an abaya, and the pleasing of my eye, and the wearing of an abaya, and the pleasing of my eye, and the delight of my eye. Here, N is mudmaratun jawazan. Meaning you could say it and it wouldn't be wrong, and you could hide it and it wouldn't be wrong. Now, in this line of poetry, you need to keep the beat, so you're going to take it out, or else you're going to ruin the flow. So what did he say here? He said, بَعْدَ عَاطِفٍ مَسْبُوقٍ بِاسْمٍ خَالِصٍ. Here, this N here came after a conjunction. Here, this N came after a conjunction, which is the wow. And this wow is preceded by a mere unadulterated noun, which is abaya, meaning it's not an adjective. It's just a noun, a regular noun. Abaya. So then this n, since it was preceded by, since it came after a conjunction that was preceded by a regular noun, then you could pronounce this n or you could omit it. Now this might sound really technical here, but you're going to have to study this. وَلُبْسُ عَبَاءَةٍ وَتَقَرَّ عَيْنِي. So you could say وَأَن تَقَرَّ عَيْنِي, or you could say وَتَقَرَّ عَيْنِي. So تَقَرَّ, then that means that's your fi'l mudari'. تَقَرَّ, in that fatha there, that's your sign of nasb. وَتَقَرَّ عَيْنِي. You know, you say in Arabic, قُرَّةُ al-ayn. It's like a phrase. Qurratul ayn. It means the eyes delight. The eyes delight. So it's a way to express happiness. You would say to your beloved, Ya qurrata ayni. Oh, my eyes delight. Oh, pleasure of my eyes. Or my eye, singular, eye. You could say with plural, qurratu ayun. That's in the Quran. فَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ مَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُم مِّن قُرَّةِ أَعْيُنٍ. No soul knows what is stashed away for it in paradise of what pleases the eye. The eyes. So, qurratul ayn, here's the verb. وَأَن تَقَرَّ عَيْنِي. And that my eye would be happy. So if you want to get the full context there, if this here is not clear for you, saying, I don't understand this abaya and happy eye, then maybe you need the entire sentence and the whole line of poetry so you can see what's going on around it before it and after it, and you can understand it. And also, when else could you say this n or hide it? Well, ba'da lam, after the lam, that means for the reason of, for the purpose of. naHw, such as لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ. Li, so, تُبَيِّنَ, you clarify, لِلنَّاسِ, for the people, O Muhammad. Allah revealed the Quran to you, O Muhammad, لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ, so that you would clarify for the people. So the meaning is لِأَن تُبَيِّنَ. لِأَن تُبَيِّنَ. So N is intended there, but you don't pronounce it. But you could pronounce it, it wouldn't be wrong. Outside of Quran, of course. In the Quran, we're going to recite it as it came. So it didn't come with N. We're not going to say it in the Quran recitation. لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ. We won't change it. But outside of the Quran, had it been the same lam, you could say لِأَن تُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ, so that you clarify. لِأَن, so that تُبَيِّنَ, you clarify لِلنَّاسِ, for the people. So I hope you recognize the importance of this chapter. If what I'm reading for you now is challenging for you, then this is definitely a hill that you want to climb and get to the top. You're not going to quit here. Yani, break your sweat here, and then lots of things going to be easier for you afterwards, inshallah. Don't be discouraged here if that's, because sometimes when the information gets challenging, then sometimes a person gets frustrated because it's not happening right away. That's how the human is. Allah created the human as a hasty creature. He wants everything done immediately. So don't be frustrated here. Just be a sponge. You have to go into baby mode here and just be a sponge, absorb all this information, and then you're going to study it, and then it's going to get clear for you, inshallah. So, لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ إِلَّا فِي نَحْوِ لِأَلَّا يَعْلَمْ. Except in the case of لِأَلَّا يَعْلَمَ لِأَلَّا يَعْلَمَ لِأَلَّا يَكُونَ لِلنَّاسِ فَتَظْهَرُ لَا غَيْرٍ. In the case of لِأَلَّا يَعْلَمْ here, li, that's harf jar, and then it says here Allah, yani you have here, this is Hamza, there's lam, li, Allah. So here's Hamza, and this lam has shadda on it. This shadda goes to the lam here. So the origin of that is li and la. Li and la. And you know how the noon in Arabic can blend into the lam. So if you blend the noon into the lam, you'd say li Allah. Just like in the shahada, you say ashhadu alla ilaha illallah. Originally it's en la, right? You say ashhadu en la ilaha illallah. En la. So you could pronounce that, you could merge the noon into the lam and say Allah. And you can even, if you want, you can write these like this. Allah, just write it as Allah for shadda on the lam. Allah, that's valid. That's what happened in the ayah. It got written together. Ashhadu alla ilaha illallah here. Li Allah, the origin is li an la. Li alla ya'lama. Ibn Hisham says, not in this case though, even though there's a lamb here. But in this case, even though there's a lamb here, you need to say and you can't hide it. Li an la, li alla ya'lam, and also here, li alla yakuna linnas. Why you have to say it? We'll see what the author has for us, inshallah. فَتَظْهَرُ لَا غَيْرٍ. In those two cases, what's like that, N has to appear, and there's no other way. If you hide it, it would be incorrect. وَنَحْوُ, and like, وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُعَذِّبَهُمْ وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُعَذِّبَهُمْ فَتُضْمَرُ لَا غَيْرٍ. Then, in this case, it will be hidden only. There's a lamb here. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُعَذِّبَهُمْ. Here, in this case, you have to hide the N. In this case, you have to hide the N. You don't say li an, you don't say وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ li an يُعَذِّبَهُمْ, because this lamb, yeah, that's a lamb with a kasra, but this lamb is called lamul juhud. This is the lamb of denial. The sign of lamul juhud is that before it is ma kana or lam yakun. Ma kana li, and then there's a verb, kada. Ma kana li kada. Or you could put any pronoun on kana. You can say ma kuntu, I was not. Ma kuntu li af'ala hadha, I would never do that. That's what that lamb is there. Lamul juhud, the lamb of denial. I usually translate it as never to emphasize, because it's for emphasizing the negation. The negation's already there. Ma, there's the negation. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُعَذِّبَهُم. Allah would never torture them, according to whatever's in the ayah there. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُعَذِّبَهُم. Allah would never torture them. If that lamb wasn't there and it only said وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ يُعَذِّبُهُم, then I might translate it like Allah would not torture them. But the lamb is there to emphasize the negation. Lamul juhud. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُعَذِّبَهُم. Allah would never torture them. It's like what one Sahabi said, the one who was captured by the pagans. They wanted to execute him to avenge their slain father. He killed their father fair and square in battle, though. But they wanted to execute him for that. They caught him. They got their hands on him. They kept him for a while, and they had him chained up in their house. And he had a razor. Now, I don't remember why he had a razor in his hand. If he had a razor and he was chained up. And then the baby of the house made its way over to him, the prisoner, while he had a razor in his hand. So then the baby came to him and he took that baby up in his hand. He had the razor in one hand, he had the baby in the other hand. So then when the mother saw that, she froze. So he looked at her and he said, "Ma kuntu li af'ala dhalik." I would never do that. Might take you some exercises, though, to recognize lamul juhud. A lot of people, they'll miss that lamul juhud until they see it a few times. Ma kana or lam yakun. It has to be kana negated. In the past, kana, ma kana, or yakun negated. Lam yakun. فَتُضْمَرُ لَا غَيْرٍ. And in this case will be hidden only and nothing more. It will be hidden and nothing more. You cannot say it or it would be wrong. كَإِضْمَارِهَا بَعْدَ حَتَّى. Just like hiding n after حَتَّى. إِذَا كَانَ الْفِعْلُ مُسْتَقْبَلًا. If the verb were for the future. If the verb were for the future, naHw, حَتَّى يَرْجِعَ إِلَيْنَا مُوسَى. I gave you that example. So the meaning is, أَن يَرْجِعَ. حَتَّى, until يَرْجِعَ إِلَيْنَا مُوسَى. Moses returns to us. حَتَّى here means إِلَى, to, or until. Ila and then n is hidden. Ila an yarji'a ilayna Musa, until Moses comes back to us. So you can't say n. You don't say hatta an yarji'a. That's a mistake. So you have to hide n, but it's there in your heart. Hatta yarji'a ilayna Musa wa ba'da aw. And after "o," literally it means or. Allati bima'na ila, but the one that means to or until. Or could mean to or until. When you study the Arabic, it's going to broaden your understanding. It is said that if you study Arabic, then you can understand any language after that. Some people said, you cannot compare Arabic to English. I don't know how they said so. Especially that they said Arabic is the best language. So the way to deem something as best is to compare it to something else. A creation, I mean. Comparing the creation to that creation, you're going to judge one of them as better by comparing them. Anyway, or that means until. How's that? naHw. وكنت إذا غمزت قناة قوم كسرت كعوبها أو تستقيما. Okay, the point here is this. أو تستقيما كسرت كعوبها أو تستقيما. So, أو here means إلى. أو means إلى, and N is intended in there. Ila an tastaqima, until. So O here means until, or here means until. It works in English. You could say or with the meaning of until or unless. You'd say to a person, I'm going to be in your face or you're going to get out of the house. I'm going to be in your face or you're going to get out of the house. What does that mean? Until you get out of the house, yani, unless you get out of the house. So when O means ila, and it's followed by this fi'l mudari', this ManSoob, this alif here is for the poetry, for the sake of the poetry. That's called alif al-itlaq. Alif al-itlaq, the alif that comes at the end of a line of poetry, whether it's the front part or the back part, doesn't have, yani, could be, the poetry is made of two parts. As-sadr, the chest, and the ajuz, the rump. The chest and the rump. As-sadr, the chest, wal-ajuz, and the rump, yani, the backside. It's the ajuz. So that alif could appear on the end of either one of those. It's just to keep the beat. That's called aliful itlaq. So the meaning here is tastaqim. Oh, tastaqim. Yani ila an tastaqim. Tastaqima. We're still reading the text only, so he didn't explain yet. وَبَعْدَ فَاءِ السَّبَبِيَّةِ, and also you're going to keep the N hidden after the consequential fa. The consequential fa. Fa, that's a conjunction, fa. Wow is a conjunction, harf atuf, and fa, and others. And sometimes this fa, this conjunction, you're going to translate it as so or thus. It can be translated so many ways. Depends on the sentence. We're talking about when this fa comes with the meaning of consequence, means being the reason or the cause, yani. Oh, wow, al-ma'iyah, or after the wow, usually wow is going to mean and, but this is the and that means with, yani the wow that means with. Wow al-ma'iyah. Wallahi, I'm so afraid I'm overloading you, but we're almost to the end here. I hope this is all clear for you. مسبوقتين بنفي محض, but when these two, this consequential fa and this wow that means with instead of and, when they are مسبوقتين بنفي محض, when they come after a pure negation, when they come after a pure negation, أو طلب بالفعل, or they come after seeking something by use of a verb, seeking something by use of a verb. Oh, naHw, such as لا يقضى عليهم فيموتوا. لا يقضى عليهم فيموتوا. They will not be finished. They will not be finished off so that they die. فيموتوا. لا يقضى عليهم. So that's just a pure negation. لا يقضى عليهم. The people of hell, لا يقضى عليهم. They won't be finished off. They won't be finalized with the meaning of put to rest. They won't be finished off in hell. فَيَمُوتُ, and thus they die. Thus they die. Or consequently they die. فَيَمُوتُ. So this is fa'u sababiyah. It comes with the meaning of consequence. It came here after a pure negation, a mere negation. So then the meaning is فَأَنْ يَمُوتُوا لَا يُقْضَى عَلَيْهِمْ فَأَنْ يَمُوتُوا. You can't say the N. You have to hide it. Here, وَيَعْلَمَ الصَّابِرِينَ. وَيَعْلَمَ الصَّابِرِينَ. وَيَعْلَمَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Looks like, and he knows the patient. And he knows the patient. But when you studied the naHw, you'd say, wait a minute. All right, we'll see it in the explanation when the author comes to it. What's happening here? وَيَعْلَمَ الصَّابِرِينَ. But the meaning is, while he knows the patient, or with his knowing the patient ones. It's not, and he knows. This is wow al-ma'iyah. Wow, that means ma'a, with his knowing the patient ones, or while he knows the patient ones. We'll see what's going on in that ayah, inshallah. And another example, وَلَا تَطْغَوْا فِيهِ فَيَحِلُّ. وَلَا تَطْغَوْا فِيهِ فَيَحِلُّ. فَيَحِلَّ, sorry. وَلَا تَطْغَوْا فِيهِ فَيَحِلَّ عَلَيْكُمْ غَضَبِي. And do not transgress. So that's seeking something by use of a verb. Seeking to not do something, actually. La tatughaw, don't transgress. That's a seeking. That's a talab. There's many types of seeking. So, should be clear for you here. And this is, you need to open your mind here to benefit. What are you opening your mind to here? All what we're talking about now, in the rest of this chapter, and also what's coming, we're going to talk about the jazms, also what makes the verb majzoom. These particles come with meanings. You're going to learn many meanings. What you want to do is put words to these meanings. Give names to all these meanings. Here's the meaning. La tatughaw. Don't transgress. What kind of meaning is that? That's a nahi, prohibition. And a nahi is a talab, a type of talab, a seeking. That's a meaning. Seeking is a meaning. You might seek by asking. You might seek by forbidding. You might seek by demanding. لا تطغوا فيه فيحل عليكم غضبي. Do not transgress in it. فيحل, what's that fa? That's fa sababiyah. And therefore legalize, yani, or justify my punishment of you. Do not transgress therein, and therefore justify my punishment of you. فَيَحِلَّ عَلَيْكُمْ غَضَبِي. And also, لا تأكل السمك وتشرب اللبن. لا تأكل السمك وتشرب اللبن. Here, لا تأكل, do not eat. That's seeking, which it's forbidding you. Don't eat. لا تأكل السمك, don't eat the fish. That's a seeking, that's not a pure negation. That's seeking. وتشرب. Here, this is wow al-ma'iyya. While you drink milk, don't eat fish while drinking milk. وتشرب اللبن. So someone might translate that as, don't eat fish and drink milk. So and here means what? With. لا تأكلي السمك وتشرب اللبن. So what the meaning is, وأن تشرب. Don't eat the fish, with that you drink milk. But you're going to hide the that part. Don't eat fish with drinking milk. Why? Because it can make you sick. If you're in a hot land, by the way, not always. Don't mix fish and milk in the heat. Don't mix fish and milk in the heat. Wallahu alam, we'll stop there. And the author is going to explain everything for us next week, inshaAllah ta'ala.